Anxiety is something we're all gonna have to face. We're all gonna have to learn to overcome having anxiety. You're gonna have splurts of anxiety throughout your whole life. When you're starting something new, when you're heading into a new environment, a new job, a new class, just something new with your life, you're going to be anxious about it. But the more prepared you are heading into that new thing, the less anxiety you're gonna have. Like, you're gonna have anxiety no matter what. No matter how confident you are with something, no matter how long you've been doing something, you're gonna have some form of anxiety no matter what. You have to learn to control your anxiety. You have to accept and bond with that anxiety. You have to do that. Because if you just run away from your goals, run away from what you're supposed to face in life, run away from challenges, you're just increasing the chance of that anxiety to take over your mindset, to take over your life. You're scaring yourself away from that next big thing. You need to face these challenges in life. And the more prepared you are, the less anxiety you'll have. It's like if you're joining a new class, you don't know anyone, you're gonna have anxiety. But you need to work on your habits and you need to build your confidence. So when you do head into that new class, the anxiety ain't gonna be through the roof. Like, if you have habits you're not proud of, like if you drink, you smoke, you do drugs, you don't exercise, you're not in shape, and you're heading into a new environment, your anxiety is going to be high. You're going to have a lot of anxiety. But if you're somebody who's in shape, you're somebody who is reliable to yourself, the less anxiety you'll have because you trust yourself, you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, of course you're going to be anxious. You're going to live an anxious life, be worried about everything that's coming at you. You're going to be depressed about past events that's happened. Like, anything that's causing you anxiety, you have to let it go. Drugs cause you to have anxiety. Alcohol causes you to have anxiety. Not being in shape causes you to have anxiety. It's like you're creating this anxiety yourself. You have to fucking love yourself, trust yourself, work on yourself, work on your mindset, work on strengthening your mindset, work on improving your physique. Whatever you know you need to work on, you need to do that. Whatever's causing you to make you feel down about yourself, whatever bad habits, bad addictions you have, you need to remove those. Because if you don't remove those, you're always going to have high levels of anxiety. When I was smoking weed, I was anxious about everything. Everything I was anxious about. I was anxious to start a new job. I was anxious to just walk down the street, see people in public. Always scared about bumping into someone I don't want to see. Now I'm never scared about bumping into anyone. Why would I be anxious about bumping into anybody? When I was high, I didn't want to see people. I didn't want to see certain girls, certain man. I didn't want to bump into old friends. There was a whole bunch of people I was avoiding because I was high. I looked like shit. My eyes were red. I had so much anxiety. Because when you have anxiety, it stops you from going for what you really want because you're scared. And when you don't go for what you want, that causes depression later because you look back at them moments where you had anxiety and now you're depressed that you never took that shot because you were scared to. That's how it goes. When you have anxiety, it just causes depression for later on in life. And you need to fucking remove whatever makes you feel anxious now. People think weed helps them with their anxiety, but it doesn't. It just makes you more anxious in the long run. People think weed helps them with their depression, but it doesn't. It makes you more depressed in the long run. You need to understand these things. Any substance, any fucking bad habits you have, you need to remove them because they're increasing the level of that anxiety and that depression day by day. It's making you more of a scared human being. It all starts in your head. You create your own anxiety. And if you have childhood trauma, something that happened to you when you was young that you couldn't control, now it's on you to fix that. You can't just use your childhood trauma as an excuse for the rest of your life because there's people out there who don't give a fuck, about your excuses. You have to work with yourself. You have to use what you went through as fuel. Don't let it drain you. I can give you 100 excuses right now on why I shouldn't go to the gym tomorrow, on why I shouldn't proceed doing these videos, why I shouldn't have to help people, why I can stay in bed all day. I can give you 100 excuses and you would be like, oh yeah, what he's went through, he deserves to stay in bed. He deserves to take a day off. He deserves to not go to the gym. He deserves to be sad. He deserves some downtime. I don't want downtime. Downtime doesn't help me. Downtime puts me even more down. Whenever you're going through a bad time, or hardship, they're the times where you need to stay strong. They're the times where you need to push forward even harder when you're going through hard times, because they're the times that break people. And when you're going through a hard time, you need to understand this is a challenge from God that I need to overcome. Don't let it break me. Push through this. Get through this. Everybody has to go through different trials and tribulations in life. Some are worse than others. Some are easier than others. But whatever you get given, you need to face that challenge and you need to overcome it. Do whatever it takes to overcome it. Because if you're not able to overcome these challenges that are thrown at you in life, you're going to live a hard life. You're always going to have challenges. That's what you need to understand. I don't like to say problems. I like to say challenges, because problems, like, I don't have no problems. Everything that comes at me is a challenge and is something I can overcome. Because when you have a problem, that is self-created. All my problems I had in my life, I got rid of them all because I was causing them. I had anger problems, drinking problems, drug problems, weed problems. And as soon as you figure out and realize you're causing all your problems, they're gone. Now you see them as challenges. Now you face real challenges life's throwing at you. And the more you keep running away from your problems, the more anxiety that's given you in the long run, because you're not used to facing adversity, because you're not used to fighting back. You're used to running away, running to the weed, running to the alcohol, seeking fun, not facing what you fucking really have to face, the things that actually make you in life. When you're not facing those things, your anxiety is going to go through the roof. Everybody has anxiety. Even confident people have anxiety. But can you control yours? Can you deal with yours? Can you work with yours? You need to work with it. You need to accept you're going to have anxiety no matter what. Whenever you're in social events, whenever you join a new class, whenever you join a new job, if you're about to have a fight, if you're an athlete, you're going to have anxiety, but you need to learn to control it. You need to be the best version of yourself. You need to remove all negative habits because they cause you to have anxiety, and you need to remove these. You need to make sure your life is in check. You need to make sure your habits are in check. That's the thing. It all starts with your habits. What are your daily habits like? Are your daily habits aligned with the person you want to be? Because if they're not, you're going to have anxiety. You're going to be depressed. You're going to feel all these negative emotions. That's how it goes. But the more you stick to your word, the less anxiety you'll have, the more motivated you will be, the more confident you will be. Motivation, confidence, and discipline, they all work together. The more disciplined you are, the more confidence you will have. The more motivated you will be, the less anxiety you'll have, the less depressed you'll be. All these things work together, and it's all down to you to stick to your word. It's all down to you to follow your gut feeling, to follow your heart, to actually become the person you want to be. Are you becoming that person, or are you doing things that sway you away from becoming the person you want to be? Because if you are, that's going to cause you to have anxiety. A lot of anxiety. If you're not living up to your fucking standards, if you're not living up to the person you want to be, you're going to have anxiety, high levels of it. It's going to happen. And you need to remove the substances, the weed, the alcohol. They're the biggest goal killers. They have people just satisfied with where they're at. They don't allow people to reach the next level. And you need to make sure you're one of those people who is continuously striving to hit the next level in life all the time. You need to have goals. You need to set yourself out targets and fucking hit those targets. You need a plan in life. You need a schedule. You need a solid routine that won't be broken for anybody. That won't be broken for nothing. You're going through a hard day, you still show up at the gym. Things didn't go your way, you still show up to work. You still don't fucking smoke when you're stressed. You still don't drink when all your friends are going out drinking and you said to yourself you're never going to drink again. You don't fucking break your word, because when you relapse, when you go back into your bad habits, all that anxiety comes back, all that depression comes back. People out here complaining they have anxiety and they're depressed when they're doing it to themselves. You're doing it to yourself. When you remove the substances, you remove the negative habits, your anxiety will go, your depression will fade away, your confidence will rise, your motivation will rise. They all work together. It's all on you to make sure you're doing the right thing with your life. Because if you're doing the wrong thing with your life over and over again, going against your word, going against the person you're trying to be, you're never going to be able to, you're always going to have anxiety. At the end of the day, the way you overcome having anxiety is just facing your fears, just removing the negativity from your life. Start bringing in positive habits. Start working towards the person you want to be. Because if you don't face your fears, they're going to come and fucking get you. They're going to come and get you. You have to run into what's scary, but what's right. What will fucking boost your life to put you in a better position. You have to do those things. Stop turning to the substances thinking they're helping you with your anxiety, because they're not. I don't know who the fuck told you weed helps you with anxiety, but they're fucking lying to you. They're lying to you. And all the people out there who say weed helps them with their anxiety and their depression, they're just weak people. They're fucking weak people. Because as soon as you take the weed away from them, they can't control their emotions. It's like taking candy from a baby. You take the weed away from weed smokers, and now they can't control their emotions. They can't control their anger. And it's like you have to give them back the weed for them to be calm again. It's like taking candy from a baby and giving it back to them. It's childish. It's childish. You have to be one of those people who can stay strong, stay solid, keep his emotions together when he's going through a hard time without substances. Without substances. That's a good role model right there. That's a strong person right there. A weak person depends on substances. That's a weak person. So like I said, you need to learn to control your anger, control your emotions. Get in the gym. Stop smoking. Stop drinking. Start working out. Start working towards becoming that person you want to be.